Hi everybody, I hope you're staying safe, happy and healthy. We're back for another Frequently Asked Questions, FAQ Friday. I do hope you've all had a wonderful week and that you're staying safe, you're staying happy, and of course, just above all, you're staying healthy. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe. It's absolutely amazing the amount of support we get from our community, so thank you. You can also go to producelikeapro.com, sign up for the email list and get a whole bunch of free goodies. And of course, if you have subscribed, hit that little notification bell and it will notify you when we have a new video up. Okay, we got some great questions here for our Fact Friday, so why don't we start off with this one? It seems like nearly every producer records to a click track, no matter what the genre of music. Then it just seems they record in order, drummer first, then bass, and then guitars, etc. I feel like it hurts the song, like almost every song before that had slightly unintentional tempo changes that made the song more alive and more natural. For example, AC/DC's Back in Black. What is your opinion and what would you advise to some bands who are facing a producer who wants them to do that? I know a lot of the times that method can be beneficial for some prog stuff, for example. I follow that kind of thinking for many styles of music, but I hear it being used everywhere and in places that would just kill the magic or the groove of the song. I'm not even going to talk about quantizing. I would really like to hear your opinion on that. Thanks. Yes, you're correct. If you go back and listen to Highway to Hell and Back in Black, two albums that Mutt Lange produced, I was always under the impression, because Mutt's production is so incredible, I sort of assumed that all of those were cut to clicks and so perfect. And you're right, I took Back in Black and had to do a cover of it for the TV show X Factor. So I loaded it into a session, expecting just to kind of get the tempo roughly, and then realized the tempo is all over the place. But I never heard it like that. I didn't hear the tempo changes. It felt completely natural. Now, I agree. Sometimes, quite frankly, the conveyor belt approach on making records makes every song sound exactly the same. Agreed. The way I grew up making records and the way that I still hope to and try to make records, especially with bands, is to get them all in the same room so they can perform with each other. Even if I do end up replaying guitar parts or bass parts, the point is they've put the song down like they were playing it live. Now, that is the preferred method that I like, and that does allow fluctuations in tempo. Even if you are tracking to a click, there'll be pushes and pulls between the instrumentalists. So I do still prefer that. When I first started at the very beginning, what we used to do was have a click track play for about 2 to 4 bars to start the tempo of the song, and then mute it. And then the drummer and the band would just go wherever it went. And that was pretty special. I did quite a few albums as a musician in the 90s like that. So it hasn't been that long that everything is like perfect. The question is though, and you have to ask yourself, is how good is your band? Had the band been playing out for a year or two? Are they absolutely phenomenal, tight, and know the songs back to front? Have you done a couple of weeks of pre-production with them in the studio, nailing down the arrangements and the groove and the feel and the tempo and everything? If the answer to those questions is yes, then you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can put faders up and just record them performing. And if you want to try the trick of, getting the initial tempo right by giving them a click track for 2 to 4 bars, or maybe even half the first verse, then do that. But the reality is like you will get an amazing performance from a band that plays really, really well together. Also, lots of bands go out with tracks with like synth parts and programmed things that they're going to do. And that means the drummer quite often is playing to a click. So bear that in mind. Not every band is a classic blues rock band. Bands these days do all kinds of different things. Sometimes they're more jazz influenced, more funk, more metal, more rock, more country. They all have different ways of working. So the answer to your question is yes, I get what you're saying. It comes down to the band and the situation. Let's be honest, not every band is that rehearsed. Not every band has played tons of shows. Not every band works and can pull it together in pre-production. Sometimes while you're recording, you're still working on the arrangement, still getting everything to sound just right. And that's where the click track can be your friend. Now, one solution to your dilemma might be this. If you're working with a fairly inexperienced band, but you still want those natural tempo changes, you want the song to feel like it's getting more intense at certain parts or having more breadth in others, do this. Go into a rehearsal room and work them hard. Work them hard for a few days and record the songs. Take the songs back, even if they're just on a cell phone. Take the songs back as a stereo file or whatever you've got, 4-track demo, whatever you've done, and load it into your DAW. And then create a tempo map. You can sit there and manipulate the audio and create a tempo map. If the first verse, for instance, sounds great at 98 BPM on average, and then the first chorus comes in and it speeds up and it goes to 100, then create a tempo map for that. And then maybe the second verse comes in. It doesn't slow down as much as the first verse. It comes to about 99. Second chorus, 102. Bridge, super slow, 96. Slows down. Last chorus comes in, 104. These things happen. Some of the songs we love are like this. The songs get faster, slower, faster, slower. Do it in pre-production. So create that tempo map. So when they come in to record, the click that they are hearing, because they may have red light fever, the click they are hearing mirrors what they do when they're playing the song live or in rehearsal or in pre-production. That could be your secret. So you've created this tempo map with all of the feel and the groove changes. You can let them breathe around it a little bit, come in a little ahead, a little behind, all of these things. If it feels good, mute the click track and the track feels good, then you're onto a winner. But tempo mapping, I think for you, will get what you want. I've done many, 3 times the charm, many songs with tempo maps, and you would never know. Some of the best songs I've ever done have been tempo mapped all over the place. And it worked really, really well. But unless you're looking for it, you're not going to find those songs. They'll just pass you by and they'll sound natural and good. Exactly like you were saying with AC/DC. They will feel good. You won't notice that there's tempo fluctuations because it works for the song. So I think that's your secret. Try a tempo map. I own an Engel Powerball 2 amp and cab. When recording it, I use a Shure SM57. It seems like I'm always finding too many frequencies that are offensive. I recently watched the episode with Mr. Polotnikov where he mentioned that he doesn't need to use EQ. My results have made me look into a Kemper. How many variables am I missing with the miking, I wonder, placement, etc. So what Mike was saying, and was a great point, is he works, and we have Engels here and we love them. They sound phenomenal. So I know you can get the sounds. With the Engels, with the Engel cab, and with Marshalls, we've tried them with everything and they always sound great. So the question is it sounding to you like the guitar sound that you want? What I mean is, like, if you're in a room and you're playing guitar, does it sound amazing? Get it to sound amazing. Then put the 57 on it. And remember, if you go right to the center of the dust cap on the speaker right there, it's going to be the brightest. And as you pull it to the edge, it will get darker. So dark to bright, like this. So what do you want to do? You want to listen to it in the room, get the amp dialed in so it sounds phenomenal. Be aware that if you're hearing a lot of ambience in the room, take that into account. Maybe you need to record some ambience in the room as well. Maybe that's part of what you love about the guitar sound, is the guitar cab in a room. Maybe put up a room mic or two. Put up the room mic where you're standing, where you think it sounds the best, and blend that back in. Maybe that's a solution for you as well. But put the mic, what I would do is somewhere halfway between the edge and the dust cap, and that will give you arguably the most neutral sound. Now, go into the control room, play your guitar. How's it sound? You're saying, is it too harsh? Then go to the amp first. Go to the amp first and see if you can dial back some of that treble or some of that presence, or maybe the mid-range on your amp is just cranking and offensive. Pull it down. Shape the tone with that mic in that sort of safe position. If it sounds too dull and you start dialing in tons and tons of treble, maybe then what you need to do is move the microphone a little bit closer to the dust cap where it's brighter. It's a combination of mic placement with EQ. But I really, really strongly believe that you can get a great sound with just a 57 going into a decent mic pre. I'm not sure if you've got something of a 1073 level or a 312, but if you've got something that's a good sounding mic pre with a 57, with an amp and a cab as good as you've got, You've really got to be able to get a really good guitar sound. It's possible. Those are great pieces of equipment. So it just might take a little bit more patience. And if there's frequencies that are super, super harsh and you can't get rid of them by EQ and by moving the mic, then maybe there's a problem somewhere else. Maybe the microphone is faulty. Maybe there's something distorting with that mic. Maybe the capsule's damaged. There's a high frequency, harsh distortion. I'm not sure. Maybe your mic pre is overloading a bit. Pull back the mic pre. Don't hit it too hard. Some mic pre's love a little bit of distortion. Some absolutely hate it. There could be other things in your chain that are causing that, because my honest opinion, with an amp that good and a 57 and a decent chain, nice mic pre, decent cables, nice guitar, fresh strings, you should be able to get a fantastic sound. So there's a special on Glenn's course going on at the moment, and it's a guitar recording course. So you can check that out as well. He talks about a lot of different methods. You can do the Fredman technique with the 257s. That is an amazing technique. You could try another microphone. You could also blend in a ribbon microphone if you wanted to get something a little fatter and warmer. It depends on what the issues you're having are with recording this guitar sound. But I honestly believe good mic with a great amp, great guitar, great cab with a nice mic pre, you should be able to get amazing results. It's really going to be a case of just being patient and taking time to listen to the guitar sound, move the mic around, adjust the amp, and get that place that sounds amazing. And once you get it sounding amazing, you'll probably find you won't want to touch it. But I know you can do it with that gear. I'm not sure what your mic pre is, and I'm not sure if there's any distortion going on the mic pre, or potentially if the mic is damaged. But my honest opinion is that you've got the tools to get a great guitar sound. It depends on whether you want that particular great guitar sound, but you certainly shouldn't have an issue of harshness with that amp, because we have the same amp and it sounds smooth as a baby's bottom. I'm 27 and I can't stand the whole cubicle day job anymore, so I'm considering going to school for video game sound design. Would love to hear your thoughts on the field when it comes to being sustainable compared to just recording and producing musicians and artists. A mini-series on video game and film development may be cool. So we have a couple of really fun videos that I highly recommend you check out. We have the great Wilbert Roger and, of course, Mr. Mick Gordon. Both of those guys are at the top of their game. Two of the most successful video game sound designers and musicians and composers and everything. They are both multi-instrumentalists and just extremely talented. So please check out those videos. I'm sure we can put links below to those two videos. Check them out. The second thing is, I went to Game Sound Con this year in Los Angeles, and it was amazing. There was so many people working in game sound there, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I wanted to showcase it for exactly what you're talking about, because this is a massive growth industry. It is a huge part of the industry. And I'll tell you what, it was under half capacity. I was amazed. I got back and I spoke to all my engineer, producer, and composer friends and was like, where were you? Why weren't you there? So next time it comes round, it might be postponed because of, all of the stuff that's going on this year. But next time Game Sound Con comes on, and I think they have it in several cities, or at least in Los Angeles, go to it. Intermingle, reach out to people who do this. There's so many incredible people that work in game video sound. Reach out to them, follow them, go watch that Mick Gordon interview, watch the Wilbert Roger one, find out how they got into it. Be persistent, be creative, work really hard, and yes, I think it is a fantastic idea to go into that world. And the point is, you're going to learn to compose, sound design, record, mix. You're going to get really, really amazing at it, and all of those attributes are really good for a modern music producer as well. So what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to go to school and intermingle with other people wanting to get into that world? I think it's fantastic. And then come away with a skill set to be able to produce and create great music. I think it's admirable. If I was 27 again, a couple of years ago, and I had that same feeling, I would hope that somebody like me would rubber stamp it and say, do it, because I think it's a fantastic idea. If you want to get out of your desk job and you're young enough that you can go back to school and learn a new set of skills and trades, I say go for it, really. Like I said, GameSoundCon, don't get paid anything to mention it. I was just thought how wonderful an opportunity it was and how many amazing people I met there and just how undersubscribed it was. I was amazed that I was pretty much I think I was the only engineer, producer and composer that I saw there that wasn't part of the event. There was lots of other people in there, all people working in games, loads of video game people, amazing opportunity to go and mingle with all these incredibly talented people and get contacts and get work and do well. And I was the only one there that was taking advantage of that. So I say, go do it. Go for it. Check that out. We'll put the video to GameSoundCon down there as well. You're going to have those 3 videos to check out. What a wonderful question. Check out Mick Gordon, Will Roger, and GameSoundCon and see what other stuff you can find out. If you watch that video, there was quite a few different companies in there that were sort of like, there was almost like a union for game sound people that you could join and you could talk to other people doing it. There's a lot of opportunity in there. I say anybody that's interested in doing it, just get your feet wet, talk to people. If you're young enough and you want to go back to school or you just want to go back to school, whatever age, to learn this stuff, go do it. I am 100% supportive. What a great question and what a wonderful way to finish. Thank you ever so much for all of these incredible frequently asked questions. Please stay healthy, stay safe, be happy, and leave us a whole bunch of comments and questions below. I really appreciate everything that you do for this community. You are all incredible. Please keep sharing the love and helping each other. I really, really appreciate it. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.